So hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. So this is just a logic development session which is live with the subscriber I have. If you are new, please do like and subscribe my video channel. And just to get the notification of the live session like this, you can join this group chat. I have specified the link in the video and you can join over there. Now let's continue. So the first function I'm just going to discuss now. So the test case was write a first not null function. This is just a name they have given that should accept an array. Means we have to create a function which will accept an array whose element can be string or null. Means we have to write a function and that function will accept array as an parameter and elements can be null or a string. This is the first line. Then they have written the test case like the function should return the first element of the array. Function should return the first element of the array that is not null, because if you see the bottom they have provided the example also first not null. They have passed the array null 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 John and O, so you can see you should return the John. So first, like, the function should return the first element of the array, but you need to check like if it is not null or if there is no string in the array. Okay, then second is like the function should return the null if the array is empty. Only two test cases are there. First, your function should return the first element of the array, but that element should not be null. Okay. Or null if there is no string in the array. Means you have to return, see, in this second paragraph, function should return the first element of the array that is not null. This is the first condition, like whatever the first element is there that you need to return. But if it is not null, means let's say John and everything, something value is there which is not null. Or null, again we have to return the null if there is no string in the array. Means let's say we have passed the array where all the elements are null, so we have to return the null only. Then third condition, the function should return the null if the array is empty. Means if array is empty, in that case also we have to return the null. So there are three conditions where we have to return the null: if there is no string in the array, if we don't have if array length is empty. Okay, otherwise if we get the string, first whatever the string is present in the array element, we have to return that. So this is the function. So let's start now this. Okay, so just a normal HTML file I have created. Let's create a script tag over here. And obviously, like, doesn't matter you are appearing for the Angular or the JavaScript, they will Angular or React or Vue.js, they will evaluate you on the JavaScript only, because Angular, React, and Vue are just a framework, but based is JavaScript only. So they will evaluate on the JavaScript only. Now, so we need to write a function. Let's give it a name first null check. Just a name I'm giving. It's not like in this description they have specified like you need to give this name. It's not mandatory. But in some case also they will provide the basic function. They will provide in our means this is the left side window, right side is the programming window. So there only you need to write. So they will provide the function name also. In that function only you just need to write the code. Okay. Now, so, and this function will have a parameter. Let's say just a name I am giving at the array. Now this function I will be calling like this. I can pass an array. An array will have empty array like this. Then I can pass null value also. Let's add ABC over here. DDD CCC. Just I'm writing the test cases various. DDD, and again I'm passing null, 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 and one more time I will just pass the empty array. So these are the various test case they might have written. So first test case, what should be the output of this? First element, right? So our conditions are like it should be an array, length should not be empty, and we have to return the first element. So see, elements are there and the first element is only string. So we have output of this should be ABC. Then second, so array is not null, array is not empty, but first element is null, so we don't have to return this. Then second element, so whatever the first element we get which is not null, so output of will D. Third, array is not null, array is not empty, but all the elements are null, so we have to return null only because we didn't find any element which is not null, so obviously we have to return the null. And third statement, the fourth test case, whatever they have written, if the array is empty, we have to return the null. So whatever the output and the array we have passed, we have to write a logic in this function that we should get this output like this. Okay. Now, first condition, we have to check like if array, whatever the parameter we have got, that is empty or not. So if, okay, array dot length not equal to 0. First condition I'm checking like if array is empty or not. If it is not equal to 0, then if block will execute. In else block, if array is empty, if it is not equal to length is not equal to 0 means it has something. But if this if condition get fails, it will go to the else block. And here what we need to return? Null only. The last one. If array is empty, it will go to the else block and it will print the null. Then remaining test cases now. This if block is if array is not empty, then we have to check the remaining statement. So what it is, we need to return the first string, first element, which is not null. So now we need to iterate. Okay. So let's write the for loop now. Just a normal for loop I will write. On which element we have to write the for loop? On the array, right? So array dot length is there. Let's change this name. Array list. Okay. So we have to use the for loop on this element. So array list dot length. Now, what we need to check if the whatever the element is there is null or not. Okay. So here inside this if for loop, we have to write the condition. Now we have to check the element first, whatever the index element is there, square bracket index not equal to null. If whatever the element is there iterating, which is it is not null, then only we will return the value. So what we need to do, I will simply write the return statement and I will return the first element. Okay. Now, again, like we need to, if arrays list is not null, so if it will, like, let's say, for this, it will find the ABC. Then for this output, for the second output, it will check like first element is not null. First element is null, so it won't go to the block, but second element is not null, so it will return. Then for this, we don't have element which is null, right? So it won't return anything because we have just written the else block, right? So let me just first run this, then I will explain the scenario, then we will understand. So see, what we have written first if block is to check like if array length is there or not. If array is not null, if array length is not there, means array has some element. So it will go inside this. We are iterating on the array list. Okay. So we are checking each element, like if it is not null, whatever the first element we get, which is not null, we are simply returning it. So let's check it for now. Let's remove this now. Let's save and let's check if it is successfully working. Wait, we call the function also now. Let's try to debug first. Okay, so now first element. So see, this function got called and here we have passed the three elements. So it will go over here. Array dot length is not equal to 0, so it will go over here. Now here we can see for loop is there. Okay, now here array of index 0 is not null, so it will go over here. So it will simply say return. Okay, but why did it didn't print? Why it is not printing? Oh, so we need to print this also now. Console console.log. What? Because this function is returning, right? So unless if we print it, how it is going to print? Let's just check for this one. So see, for first output we have got ABC. Okay. Now let's check for the second one. Console.log. Okay. Now in the second function, what do we have? First element is null. Okay. So it should return the DDD. So let's check if it is printing DDD. Yeah. So it is working fine. Let's check for the third. In this function, it will break. So let's check first. Then we will check how we can handle that. Because all the elements are null. So our condition is like if there is no element which is means we don't find any proper element. So in that case also we have to return the null. Okay. But here like the code whatever we have written we have written just the if statement. If element is whatever we are iterating, if it didn't get if it got the element which is not null, then only we are returning. But we didn't handle the vice versa case because we have just written the if condition. So let's check if this code runs or not. So it has printed undefined. Let's try to debug from where it has printed undefined. So array length is not empty. So it will go inside this for loop. See, it is not going into if condition. Yeah, but why it has printed undefined then? 25 here only. Okay, let it be. So now we need to handle the condition like if there is no element which is having a string value in that case. So see or null if there is no string in the array means the third test case we don't have any string in the array. So in that case also we have to return the null. But now to handle this what we will do, we will create a local variable. So let's say constant is value is string value present is equal to by default I will make it empty. Okay. Now this if condition is for if we got the element which is not null. So what we will do, we will assign the value to this. And there also we just only first element we need to return. So before assigning, because this is a for loop, we could have multiple elements also. In this case, we have got ABC also, DDD also. So let's say first element we have got. Then this variable value will be replacing this variable value. We will replace it with the element like this. Again, on the second time it had got the value. DDD is also a string. So it will change the value. So before changing, we just need to add another if state. We have to change this variable value only once for the first element it has found. So we will just write the code if not equal to empty. If it is not equal to only, then only we will assign the value over here. Okay. Now we don't need this return statement over here. So this is the if block. Okay. Now for loop will iterate, it will check all the element. Okay. After for loop, we just need to write an if statement. So see this instead of const let because we are updating the value. So initially we created this variable with empty value and this value we are changing in this if block if the array element has particular string element, then only we are assigning the value. So this check if string element is not equal to empty, then we will return string whatever this variable have value, else we will return null. So this should handle our all test cases. Okay, so let's check. Okay, am I audible properly? Hello, everyone. Okay, so let's reload and debug this code. Okay. So now we have called the function, but in the array list, we have got an array, but all the values are null. In this case, we should be able to return the null only because there is no proper string value. Okay. So let's check. So we have created a local variable with empty value. And then inside the for loop, what we are checking, if the value, whatever the element we are iterating, if it is not null, then only we are assigning the value. With that also, we just need the first value, because if we assign the value in the next iteration also, again we got the string value, we should not change it, because we just want the first element value. So that's why I have added this check also. Okay. So now in this case, we don't have any element which is having a string value, so all the elements are null. So after the for loop, now here we are again checking if this string is empty, means we are returning the value null. Okay. So this was the test case earlier got failed. Okay. Let's check the last one also. Then again, I will explain the remaining. Okay. So first is like last one is very easy. So if array is empty, obviously it will go to the else block. Now let's check everything. First, we will check like if everything is giving the correct output, then I will explain again. So first, like array list is there. We got the first element only, which is not null and has a string value. So see now, it will go to the for loop. Element is not null, so it will go inside that. Okay, in array list, we have got ABC. So in this, wait, it didn't go inside. If equal to empty, here we have to write the equal to, because it won't go inside any time. We have to write the condition. La. If it is empty, then only it will go. If it has the value, then we don't have to update it. So here we need the empty equal to condition with empty. Let's reload again. So see, first array, we should get the ABC. So it will go inside the for loop. It will check the first element is not null. Current local variable is having value empty. So it is empty. It will go inside. Okay. Now here in this variable, we have got the value. Now it is checking the second element, right? And again, second element is not null, but now it won't go inside because we have got the first element now. So this variable is not equal to empty. So it won't go. Okay. So it doesn't matter how many elements has the proper value, still it won't go. Now this element value is not null, not empty. So it will return the whatever the value we have. First iteration is correct. Now second, for the second, first element is null and second element is DTD. So see, first element is not null, then second element and the variable value is empty. So we have got it. Then it will return the string. Now third, all the elements are array is not empty, but all the elements are null. So it won't go anywhere and it will return the else only. So string is empty only, so it will go to the else block and it will return the null. And last one is for the array. So that we have handled straightforward. Got it? So this code have handled all our situations. Whatever the test cases they have said, we have covered everything. Again, like you can filter out the code also, but make sure this kind of machine test, they don't require you to write the, what we can say, very optimized code. They just want, because these tools are designed, they will have a test case and they will check whatever the code you have written with the test cases. If their test cases are success, then your machine test will get success. So they are not concerned with the code optimization. Only you need to write the code which will, what we can say, validate all the test cases. So this, like you can optimize the for loop. Once you get the element, you can break, you can return or something also, so that remaining iteration should not be there. You can optimize the code, but this is the easiest and the simplest code you should write. Okay. You can unmute. If anyone has any question, we can quickly discuss, then we can move to the second task. Yeah, we can break, Akash. Anyone else has any doubt? Is it clear? See, these are the what we can say. This kind of a scenario is like you cannot find it any tutorial website or anywhere you cannot find, unless you appear for the machine test and you are getting something like that. Then only you will get to know scenarios like this. Okay, try to gather from your friends or someone they might have appeared for machine test like this, and try to find a solution for this. Okay. Anyone else has any question? Otherwise, we can move to the next one. All clear to everyone? Okay. So let's see the next one. Let me just comment it. Yeah, find method also we can use. But again, the code will change. But find method, like uh, how you will use the find method. The scenario is not specific. We just need the first element. So for loop is the best option over here. Find we use when we have to filter the array with specific condition. But here condition is like not null. Okay. So that also you can write, but the code will again change. If you are compatible with find, then you can write that. Okay. Again, like when whatever the task it can be, there will be multiple solution. What comes into your mind that you can use it, right? Okay. What is the next one? So now second is like write a function calculate average method, which calculate the average height of a person. Okay. We just need to write a simple function, calculate average height. But the catch is the function takes only one argument, which is the dictionary, which whose keys are the string and values are the object that implement the person interface. Means we will get an object where we will have the inner object like this person, it will have height and the width property. Okay. Then it has written like given the object data, return the calculated average height. Now see the example they have provided. So consider like calculate average third photo. Okay. This is the function. For this function, what kind of parameter we will get? We will get an object. And inside that object, we will have multiple inner object. Matt, this is first person, it will have height, weight. Then second person, height, weight. Like that, we can have multiple inner object. Okay. So we need to write a function which will calculate the height. There are no many test cases, but only one test case is like given the object data, return the calculated average height. If there are no people in the data object, return null. This is the only test case. First, we have to calculate the average height of whatever the person we get. And if there is no object in the data, it means there are no people in the object data, we have to return the null. Okay. Now let's check it. So first I will function calculate average height. Let's name this obj. Okay. Now first I will explain the scenarios, like what kind of object we need. So let's create constant obj1, or let's make it student is equal to curly bracket. So see what type of parameter we are going to get. We should have an object. Inside that we will have multiple string, but inside that string we will have inner object. So this kind of object we will try to create. So let's say we have JSON curly bracket height colon 23 width colon 24. This is one object. Then Adam colon height colon 45 width colon 56. Again height 56 width colon something. Okay. This is one object. Then second test case, only test case we have if the object doesn't have any fields. So let's say employee object I'm creating and it has an empty value. It doesn't have any properties. Okay. Now we need to write a function which will handle this type of data. If we have the particular, if we got the object which has particular properties, so we have to calculate the height. Okay. So first condition, we need to check, see, this is an object. Okay. Now height is inside the properties of this JSON, because we don't have an array of object or something where we have the height and we can just calculate it. We are getting the height inside the child of, inside means it's an inner object inside this property. Okay. So first what we need to check, like this object has the keys or not. Big, if first if state means this object has some properties or not. Okay. So first, like, if object, we are going to use the object method keys, and what we need to pass, the parameter whatever we get, dot length. If length is not equal to 0, then we will do something. So here I'm returning 1 1, and in else we will return null. Okay. So let's just test till now this. So we have two different output, right? Let's add it after this. Console.log function, and for this function we will pass the student object. Then second I will pass the employee object. So for this we should get 1, and for this we should get null. Okay. So let's check. See, for first we have got 1, and for second we have got null. So the second test case, like if there are no people in the data object, return null. So this test case got covered. Now we have to actually write the code to calculate the average height. Okay. Now, so first, like, this is the if statement where we have to write the code. So here what I will do, we have to again use the for loop, because inside this each object, because see, it's the object with inner object. In each property we have some inner object, because inside the inner object we have the height property. Now we just need to calculate all the height, and we just need to divide it by whatever the length of the object we have, right? That is the simple rule to calculate the average. But the height are inside the properties of this inner object. So to extract that height from the inner object, we just need to write the code. That is the logic they want to see. Okay. So for that, what we will do, we know the what number of keys we have. Okay. So first I will use the for loop, on which we will add the for loop, what number of properties we have got, JSON, Adam, Mima, like that, right? So how do we know that? By using object.keys. So object.keys will get the number of elements we have in the object, number of keys we have in the object. Okay. So over here, we need to write that. Now here, what will happen? Here you will get JSON over here. In element, you will get JSON. Let's just add a debugger and let's test this code. Then only you will be able to understand that. Let's check it now. So now here you can see we have the for loop. So object.keys, let me just print this also. Then you will understand how do we get it. See what object.keys does? It will return the keys. What number of keys are there in your object, it will get that. You will get an array of keys. See? Then, so here in the element, what we will get? Oh, we have written array only over here. Now, every time we are going to use this, right? So instead of this, we can create a local variable where, or let's make it keys. Let's keys list is equal to over here, because we have written this 3 times. So instead of that, we can put it in a variable, and that variable we can use it over here. Okay. Now, so here key list dot index. So we will get JSON over here. Okay. So now we get the key from that. So now we need to read, now we need to get the, what do we say? Height from that object. So see, if we have to access this height, it should be like student dot JSON dot height. We can get the height like this, but this was, I mean, first we have to check the array, like how many records are there, because this is not static. Any number of elements we can get. So that's why we have to write the for loop. Okay. Now, so here we will get the JSON. So now from this object, we need to get the JSON. Whatever we have written over here, this now will be dynamic. So that will be again, and we will get the height. Okay. So let's say constant height is equal to object nothing but see, this is static thing, but now we have to make this reading thing dynamic. So object, whatever the parameter you get, square bracket. From object we can get, either you can write like directly by the dot, or you can put it that in a single quote and a value also. So inside that we just need to provide the element, mean in element we will get the JSON. So now here we will get this object. Out of that we need the height, so dot height. Okay. So those who are able to imagine this, they will get it. Otherwise, again, I will add a debugger and let me explain this again. So now here you can see for loop, it will go. Okay. So first element key index, in the 0 index, we have got JSON. So see, we have got JSON in the element. Now what we are trying to do from object, we have got a JSON field. Okay. So see now over here, we have got height 24. So if I select this up till now, what we have got, that particular object of the JSON. Then from that we are selecting the height. So we have got the height. So like that, for every person we have in the object, we will get height in this variable. Now we just need to add it. Okay. So let's create a local variable in above this for loop. Let total height is equal to, let's say I'm initializing with 0. Now we just need to sum the height. So this is equal to this plus whatever the height we got. So inside the for loop, we will get the total height. Whatever the persons we have in the object, whatever the height they have, we are just getting the sum of that and we are putting it over here. After the for loop, once we have got the total height, then we just need to write the code to calculate the average height. So constant avj height is equal to, so we know the total height, that is this. With what we will be deciding, with what we need to divide it, what number of people we have. How do we know like how many peoples are there? What number of properties we have in the object? Nothing but keys. So that we got it from over here. So keys dot length. By that we need to divide it and we need to return it. So instead of this one, now I will return this. That's it. So let's check it. Again, we can optimize the code, but just everyone should be able to understand. That's why I have created multiple variable. So let's check it now. Okay. So see, we have created the local variable, initialize that with 0, then for loop, JSON object, JSON we have got, then we have read the JSON height 24, then we have initialized that, we have put that in the local variable. Then second element of Adam, then we will get the height of Adam 45, then we have incremented that 69. Then third height 56, again we have incremented the same variable 125. After the for loop, so we have got total height as 125 divided by 3. 3 persons are there. So we will get the average height something. Why it is not available? Let's run it. So see, something 41.9. This is the average of whatever the height we have. Got it? So this is how we can write this. The catch was like, if we read it, it looks very simple, but height is inside the child object. So that's how this is the logic. By using for loop, we get the object, and from that object, this is like dynamically how we can read the object value. Okay. So this was the catch which was needed. Understood, everyone? Anyone has any doubt? Or this machine test is like too much above your technical skill? Because see, these are the machine tests which will be asked if you have experience about than 3 years. Okay. Everyone will be facing like this scenario. Just I have taken the two scenarios like this, but there will be multiple scenarios because in last session also we have used this method, right? So wherever object values are dynamic, we should be aware about object dot keys. Some machine tests are with object dot entries, object dot values. Okay. So they just want to see like if you get the dynamic data, are you able to play with that data or not? Because if it is a straightforward object, let's say constant employee, mm, okay, and we know like it's an one object with height something, then second object with height, just like that. It is very easy. Okay. But if it is dynamic, we need to create a function which is dynamic, like what number of person I pass to the that function, I should get the height. So in that case, everything should be dynamic. So that is the way of writing they are expecting. That's how they can evaluate. Like, are you able to write that kind of code or not? So that's what so many applications are there which will create the problem statement like this. Okay. So anyone, everything is clear or nothing is clear? Okay, so like if again like anyone is appearing for interviews and they are facing or they have got something machine test like this or problem statement like this, they can share it to me. We can discuss it together so that everyone will have a benefit also. Okay, thanks all for joining. Let's connect once we have something. Okay, thank you all.